Assalamu alaikum students. Today we're going to study the circulatory system. But before we get started, please make a title page and write circulatory system in bold and write the day and the date. And I'm going to read the paragraph first and explain to you what we just read. So let's get started. The circulatory system is the system that sends oxygen and nutrients around the body to all the cells and takes away waste materials. The main parts of the circulatory system are the heart, blood, and blood vessels. So from this paragraph, you can tell that the circulatory system is all about providing oxygen and nutrients to your organs, to your cells, to your tissue, right? And what makes up the circulatory system is the heart, blood, and blood vessels. So now you know what the circulatory system is, what it's doing, and what it's made up of, right? So that's pretty simple. Then we move on, and it says the heart pumps blood around the body. The blood travels in tubes called blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. So they're telling you that the main thing that's making up the circulatory system is the heart, which is an organ, right? And it's pumping blood around your body to through these blood vessels. Blood vessels are tubes that are carrying the blood around in your body, as you can see here in red and blue, all around your arms and legs, that these are blood vessels, right? So they're carrying blood around to your arms, your legs, your chest, your abdomen region. And there are three types of blood vessels in your body. There is arteries, veins, and capillaries. And I'm pretty sure you're all pretty confused. You don't know what arteries are, what are veins, what are capillaries. And this next part will make it clear for us. So arteries carry blood away from the heart to other organs and tissues in the body. This means that the blood that's going to the organs and tissues in the body, it must be oxygen rich, right? And veins carry blood to the heart. So definitely the blood that's going back to the heart is going back so it can get oxygen again, right? And then capillaries are very small blood vessels that link the veins and arteries together. So capillaries, they join the arteries and veins together. As you can see over here, capillaries are really tiny, so you can't see them. But at points where it looks like it looks like where arteries and veins are together, that's where capillaries are joining them, right? So from this page, you just learned that what circulatory system is, what it does, and what it's made up of. Then you learned that there are three types of blood vessels, and you learned what these blood vessels do. So arteries carry the blood away from the heart to the organs, veins carry the blood back to the heart, and capillaries, they join up arteries and veins together, right? So now we're going to learn how the heart works. And first, you need to know the parts of the heart, right? So the heart is divided into four chambers, and the right atrium and left atrium are the upper chambers of the heart. So as you can see, this upper part over here, this much is the upper chambers, this much over here, right? So this is the right atrium and this is the left atrium. And these two are the atrias, right? So the atriums come first, and then the right and left ventricles are the lower chambers. So these parts are the ventricles and they come below the atrium, and they form the other chambers of the heart. So you have total four chambers, and the first two are right and left atrium, and then the last two chambers are the right and left ventricle. And obviously, the blood that comes into the atrium goes to the ventricle, right? So as you can see from this diagram, that blood is coming from the body into the right atrium. So that means that blood that has less concentration or less supply of oxygen in it that your body used up is brought back to the heart, and it goes into the right atrium, and then it goes to the left ventricle and it's flown back into the lungs. Over here, the blood is oxygenated. You know how you're inhaling, आप सांस लेते हैं तो when you inhale that breath, तो उसमें oxygen होता है, carbon dioxide होता है, and it goes into your lungs, right? And your lungs are on your chest region, and that oxygen in the air, it oxygenates the blood. So जो right side of the heart में जो deoxygenated blood होता है, it goes to the lungs and it gets oxygen over there. and then it comes back into the left atrium, right? So over here, as you can see, blood from the lungs comes back into the left atrium. It goes back into the blood that's given to the body is oxygenated. It's high in oxygen concentration, and the blood that was coming from the was coming from the body into the right atrium was with low concentration of oxygen. It needed oxygen, and it goes into the lungs, gets oxygenated, comes back into the left atrium, and then goes back into the body, right? So that's how the circulatory system works. And then they're telling you that the right and left sides of the heart are separated by a wall called septum. So you need to realize that because the right side had deoxygenated blood, it had blood coming back from the body that had zero or less oxygen in it, and the left side had blood coming from the lungs, which had oxygen in it, right? So these two blood that's coming. So then it says on the right side, the left side, the atrium fills with oxygen-rich blood from the lungs. This is then pumped into the left ventricle and out around the body to provide cells with the oxygen and other nutrients they need. And over here, they're telling you how to find the pulse in your wrist. Pulse is basically um, this vibration that shows the heart rate, right? So it's basically lower to your palm, and it's over here as they're showing you. It's you can find it out by drawing by a straight line down from your index finger, and that's where you put your two fingers, your index and your middle finger of your other hand, and you can feel your pulse, and that just shows you how fast or how slow your heart is beating, right? Okay, students, so your first form of homework, you're going to underline hard words that you found were hard while reading this chapter, and you're going to underline them and write them 3 times in your notebook. And before that, please do make a title page. And when you're writing these hard words, do write the day and date on the page. So these are the words I've underlined, and if you find any other word, that you think is hard, do write them down. This will help you improve your vocabulary. So the first word is oxygen. The second word is nutrients. Third word is waste materials. Fourth word is pumps. Fifth word is capillaries. And so the other word is chambers. You can write the singular form, which would be chamber, and atrium, ventricle. Then the other word is septum. You know that septum is the wall that divides the right side of the heart from the left. Then carbon dioxide, which is the waste material that's removed from your blood. And the last word is pulse. And that's it. Thank you so much for paying attention. I hope you do your homework. Good day, students. So for the circulatory system, this is your homework. These are the question and answers. So you will make a page of question and answers. And before that, please do make a title page if you haven't already. So you will write question and answers in bold and make sure you write the day and date. So the first question is, what makes up the circulatory system? I will be sharing the answers with you after I read out the questions. So the first question is, what makes up the circulatory system? And then the second question is, what is the function of the circulatory system? And the third question is, name the 3 types of blood vessels. And the last question is, how many chambers are there in the heart and how are they divided? So there are 4 questions, and now I'll be showing you the answer, students. So now I'll be sharing the answer for your question and answers. If you remember well, the first question was what, and the second question is, what is the function of the circulatory system? So in the beginning of your first paragraph, it says the circulatory system is a system that sends oxygen and nutrients around the body to all the cells and takes. The third question is, name 3 types of blood vessels. And here is the answer in the second paragraph. It says there are 3 types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Because the question is just asking you what are the 3 types, and it's not asking you to explain further, you're not going to explain that arteries carry the blood away from the heart to the tissues, cells, and organs, and that veins carry the blood back to the heart. You're just going to write the three types and that's it. But you should know that what arteries do, veins do, and capillaries are small blood vessels that connect. And then your last question is, what are the chambers of the heart and how are they divided? So this answer is pretty easy. You're not going to write the whole thing, but you'll frame it better. But this is the answer. It says the heart is divided into four chambers. The right and left atrium are the upper chambers of the heart, and the right and left ventricles are the lower chambers of the heart. So you can write this, and then they're asking you how are the chambers divided. So you're going to talk about how the septum over here is what divides the chambers from how is what divides the right side of the heart from the left side of the heart, right? So you will write all this, and then you will say the chambers of the heart are divided by the septum, as it divides the right side from the left side, and that's how you will finish the answer.